we had an explosion of sightings starting in January, and the most dramatic of which was the North Granby sighting, which happened about, I'd say, 2 to 3 weeks after our experience. And in the meantime, I had heard of this organization called NICAP, the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomenon, and it was run by a local bureau chief by the name of George Early, who lived in Bloomfield. And I went with my fellow investigator, whose name was John Messenger, and we didn't know what to expect. It was just a bunch of kooks or thrill seekers, but we went anyway, and it was a nice house filled with what we considered normal people. And when I say normal people, I mean everyday people that you'd see on the street. And they were discussing different sightings that had occurred, things that had been reported to the police station, in the newspaper and on television. And they're trying to make some sense of it, if this was what they call a flap or a sudden influx of UFOs in the night skies over our area. And it turned out that we were very interested in the reaction of the people who attended that meeting, just to see how they reacted to these sightings. And evidently they had quite a formal procedure, standard operating procedure. They had paperwork to identify the object, the sighting, the individuals, the time, altitude, activity of the object, if there were any. Also, it was important to get a character outline of the individuals who saw the object or an object, how long they had it in view, and if they were able to get hold of any other witnesses that might have been in the area who might have seen the object as well. In other words, to get corroboration, which was very, very important, since single witness sightings didn't really count for much. It's not that the people were lying, but there's a good chance that they had misidentified what they had seen, which is quite common. Human beings tend to make bad witnesses for one reason or another. psychological being one, and the more witnesses, the better. And we had more points of view, so to speak.
Now, I think when we had talked the last time, I think you had said that NICAP actually had a threshold. Was it, I think you had told me you had to have, what was it, 3 or 4 witnesses before you would actually do an investigation?
Yeah,
So that was basically just to make sure that...
3 or 4 would make an ideal sighting, particularly from different locations.
Now, the area that you covered, did you cover all of Connecticut, or was it primarily the northwestern part?
The Northwest.